We'll talk about strategies and tactics, and those are really important. But here's what I've learned in 32 years. Although things have changed, everything's really the same. Although things have changed, everything is really the same. You take a look at a pro baseball player that makes $35 million a year hitting home runs, and that pro baseball player, when they come back at the beginning of the season, the first thing they do is they hit the ball off the tee. And one of the things that I've learned in my business career, in working with elite agents, top broker owners, CEOs, pro athletes, outside of our industry naturally, is it's the tiny hinges that swing big doors. It's the simple that solves the complex. Everything big is built on the back of micro commitments. And the current space that we're in right now, the circumstance that we're in right now, is calling us to really go down to the micro commitments, because there's an energy that's happening. We talk about circumstance. There was a circumstance 30 days ago that's always been in our business. And that circumstance was sales skepticism. It's natural. We're a salesperson. And so what we've done throughout our careers is we've handled objections. And, really what I say is our job is to lower the sales skepticism, okay? We want to lower those barriers that people have. And many times what we've done in our industry is we've waited for the objection. We've had the right objection. Well, one of the things that I've always believed in, and for me, as I lead through these times through coaching many of your peers that may be on here, some of the top leaders, literally the top team in the world, top team in Canada, people that recognize the top brokers, is what we're looking at is we're just going back to what's exciting about this, and stay with me. There's dark and there's light in the situation. And believe me, this current space that we're in, I have a family member, as many of you do, or know someone that's close to you that is high risk in the situation. So I come with empathy and an understanding. I was in the middle of a home purchase too, so I come with that. But one of the things that we're really looking at is going down to foundational principles. And what I want you to capture from the time with me today is, if you go back to the tiny hinges that swung big doors, hitting that ball off the tee. If you go back to those micro commitments, every one of you that are here, you've arrived based on that series of micro commitments that you've made. You've done it somewhere personally. You've done it professionally. And that's the reason you're here. It's like those singles, and I want you to get that too. The other thing that I want you to look at too, as you're sitting here in a time of uncertainty, is draw upon, we're taught so much to look into the future, and the windshield's bigger than the rear view mirror. That's why we look out forward. Well, I think that, the rear view mirror is really, really small because it calls upon us to focus. And focus is your superpower. Because the only two things that we can talk to accurately is something we don't like and something that's happened in the past. Well, we've all had experiences that maybe we haven't liked, that maybe didn't feel good. But you want to know what? Congratulations, you're here. See, your future is in your past. And I want you to really hold that close to you right now as we go forward. So what I've done is I've taken the time and really put a lot of time, energy, and thought, because there's so much I want to share, but there's some critical pieces right now more than ever, because focus is our superpower. Here's the first thing I want to share with you is this, and I will give you tactics, but I promise you, your video you do, your email you send, your virtual tour you do, your Facebook post you do, your Instagram post you do, all those things, they don't matter if you don't get your message right. And the right message is based in principles. See, remember this, every choice that someone makes is based on the words that they hear or the words that they read. You can have all the tactics. And listen, we need to look at virtual tour. We need to look at doing business a different way. But I'm going to promise you this, the people that get through this, to get to it. See, remember that principle. You got to go through it to get to it. And to get to it is this business that's going to be on the other side of it. Foundational principles always carry you through. So here's what I want you to know. Here's number one. We're all in the same business. And I want you to write it down. If you're a broker, owner, manager, if you're a team leader, if you're John Cheplack, a coach, if you're any of the other coaches out there, whatever business you're in, we're all in the enrollment business. I do the same thing that you do. And you know what I do? And you know what you do as a broker, owner, manager? And you know what you do as an agent in the community? Okay? You know what you do? You extend value out to people. You make deposits in the business relationship equity account. Today, you need to make deposits in the emotional relationship equity account. At the end, I'm going to bring up some words that are critical because copywriting is where it's at. We've heard about copywriting. Today, you've got to be sophisticated. Let me give you an example right now I want to throw out to you. You need to take the word think out of your vocabulary right now, and you need to take the word feel. Because right now, it's emotional. But wait a minute. It always was an emotional decision, wasn't it? See, here's what I hope you find in this. I'm going to share with you really basic stuff that we got away from and that we overlook because, listen, I'm suspect to it. We go to what's sexy. We go to what sells, what sounds great. But you know what? It's the simplicity. The simplicity, I know why, because right now I know a number, 3 agents alone that will do 6 digits in revenues, okay, this month closed, March, 6 digits personally and didn't buy a lead. They didn't have to buy any business. And they're not having pushback, which is shocking. They're having questions that come up. Now, I know there's other markets where it's absolute pause. It's because of the relationship. It's because of the principles. It's because they have made deposits in the emotional relationship equity account. And I'm going to come back to that later on as we go into the principles and the action steps that support this. But hold this close. You know, it's interesting in my 18 years, many people said, oh, he's the kumbaya guy. And I've just stayed true. I've just stayed true to it because you want to know what? It's not your tactic that's going to have you win. You're in the human resource, human relationship, human experience, human behavior business. And the few that come to understand that and become obsessed with it, they don't need a script or a dialogue. Let me ask you a question. Anyone here ever go on a listing presentation? You walk in the door and they didn't ask a single question about what you did. Did you need your listing presentation? Did you need your script? Did you need your dialogue? Did you need your objection handler? No, they looked right at you and said, whatever you say, I trust you. Because you did your job.